Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. You know who I am. I'm Route 1 FM, and of course this is my FM24 Grassroots to Glory save here with Hornchurch FC. And as you find me now, it's a little bit different. We are back on the training ground. Yes, form and a relegation dogfight is on the cards since coming out of the FA Cup. So the question is how well can this team train to change the fortunes around? That is the key. And after last season finishing in second place to a relegation battle, it's going to be some hard work. And this is why, looking at the fixtures at the minute, we see an absolute sea of reds in there. Eastleigh lost, Ebbsfleet lost, then that FA Cup game against Chippenham, a nice little victory there. But then South Shield, York, Torquay, all defeating us. That fantastic game against Swindon, where we got a 4-4 draw, should have brought some confidence in. But then we lost to Telford. Okay, wins against Woking and Solihull Moors before the replay, which we lost. Then a victory against Dagenham and Redbridge before a draw against Harrogate. It's not looking good going into the next run of games. And currently we sit 19th. We are literally, what's that, 21 points, so 6 points ahead of Oldham, who are in the relegation area. It has not been a good start after 19 games. We can only improve, and the question is when can we? For me, it starts today. We got to get this turned around and back up the league, back up to where we should be, which is fighting for those playoffs and possibly automatic, but that's beyond our reach at the minute. So it is challenge for the task is to get survival here. So let's head over to our first game against Rochdale. Like I said, Rochdale first up, and we are basically on the defend straight away. Rochdale coming close from a free kick, which is just deflected wide. The question is what can we do? We've changed the formations, we've changed the personnel just to try and give something a bit different. And we've got long throws on, but no one seems to be picking it up. But Peaks over to Clements. Clements to Beckham, who's up on this left-hand side. Into Peaks. Oh, Peaks makes it 1-0. That's a fantastic start for him, and a fantastic start to start this episode. Basically gives us a push to go up. We made it 1-0, and Clements backing that team down that left hand side with Peaks is doing well. Bradley and Nash up front. This is the strike force that needs to learn from each other and build on forward. But Peaks is stealing the show. Keeper fumbled and Peaks has taken advantage of it, and it's now Hornchurch 2, Rochdale 0. In the second half here, Rochdale on the attack, ball come across, but again this defence is holding strong. But we've got players unhappy because of what we're doing this season. The league form is not brilliant, but what can you do? We've got to make do with what we've got at the minute. So players like Clements there are unhappy because of the way we've been, and trying to literally do what we can from last season. It's just shocking that this team done so well, not many changes in personnel, and yet we're fighting relegation. But Bradley comes close there with a little flick header. We're trying everything we can. We're training hard, but Nash has been off the boil with goals. Bradley's been getting a few goals, but again, look at that. We give a gap to Rochdale's attack, and they should have finished us then. The game has ended 2-0. Up next is Scarborough, and we've got to continue this form going forward. Terry's been looking good, but I've got a feeling he's going to be wanting time away soon. Maybe even leave the club, which means we need to start finding another goalkeeper. Gennardo's been looked at by other teams, but Scarborough Athletic on the attack, down the left-hand side, cutting in, and they've walked it straight in. A goal from just 2 yards out. This is what I was fearing. Scales there just got lost, and they walked it straight in. And they've come close again from header. You can see this defence is not happy at all. No one seems to be pulling in the same direction, and they're leaving gaps and not getting their foot in on the tackle. I need to tackle hard. Look at that. Run round the back, and again, 3 yards out, walks it straight in. It's now Hornchurch 0, Scarborough Athletic 2. This is not great at all. We need to turn things around very soon. As you can see, there's even more reds than greens at the minute. But what can you expect? We've had a few good seasons beforehand. Now, this is our bad season. Woking up there in the trophy. Drew 2-2, lost on penalties. You've just seen a Rochdale victory. We've then gone to Burton and won 3-0. A draw against Oldham as well. Gaz Bradley saving the blushes there. We lose then 3-0 to Scunthorpe. After that was a 2-2 draw against Bradford. Going into January, Grimsby 1-0 loss. A draw against Halifax. A hammering defeat, a 5-1 defeat against Fife. Back with a couple of wins against Aldershot and Barnet. Bradley getting on the score sheet as well. So is the returning Rio. Yes, Rio has returned in the January transfer window from his stint in Ireland. Got offered back, we took him. Scarborough Athletic then beat us, you've just seen that. A 0-0 draw against Hartlepool. For a couple of wins there, 3-0 and 4-0 against Boreham Wood and Eastleigh respectively. The running is going to be hard. It is going to be full of ups and downs. But when you lie here in 14th now after 35 games, it is going to be, what we're going to do? We've got to find a way to get out of this situation. It's hard. It's hard. But basically what I've got to start now is continuing this team on the up to try and get them to safety. And I feel like we are at the minute. We could still be pulled in. But are we going to make any playoffs? No, we've got 20 points behind, at least 20 points behind Scunthorpe there. You look at some of the other teams in the mix, 35 points just above the relegation area. It's going to be hard. I've got to start looking forward to next season. And speaking about next season, we have finally signed an amazing youngster, Adnor. He is English Brazilian. He's declared himself for the Brazilian national team, but he arrives on a free transfer, a pre-contract agreement from Manchester City. This is big. This 18-year-old starlet has shown what he's got in the youth teams at City. He must have had something good about him, but he is leaving them after his contract. He is joining Hornchurch at the end of the season, which is brilliant, which comes as a big positive. He must have seen a project here which is worth doing. Speaking about projects, this has got even better now, because it has been agreed that West Ham and Hornchurch have now become affiliates. West Ham are going to pay Hornchurch an annual fee of £1 million a season, which is great. It's fantastic. It helps our wages, helps run the club, which is absolutely brilliant. We've also got use of their training facilities and interest in their players as well, if we need it. West Ham, a good club in London. Mir also had connections with Hornchurch. Mason Terry was a former player of West Ham, come on loan to Hornchurch and then made his move permanent. So if we can get players like that in from the West Ham youth team, from their conveyor belt, bear in mind, you think of some of the players that they've had, Lampard, Cole, Carrick, we can unearth one of them. Hey, who knows where this team could go. So, a couple of affiliates there. Bowers and Pitsy, we know it's always been there from a couple of seasons, but now West Ham with the added bonus of using the West Ham training facilities. Guys, that's all the news I've got at the minute. We've got one last video for the end of the season. Hopefully we can survive this, but the rebuild starts now. Guys, no matter what you call it, football, soccer, football, just remember, we all love the game. I will see you next time.